fully with you. He's clearly my number one receiver and right there in that conversation for 1 overall. The only guy I'm considering above him would be who you have at 5 right behind him, and that's Najee Harris. And I guess that's more because I love the bell cows. Yeah. I've always been a sucker for them, and they're just so rare that when you have a shot at the true next potential horse, to me, that's what I go for.
Yeah.
And clearly you love him too. You have him at number 5. He's your number 1 running back by a mile. Do you expect him to be the next great Tomlin workhorse? What's kind of your projection for this guy coming in?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Again, these rankings, it's always tough to do rankings because it's like every team is a little different. It's like, you know what I mean? If you already have a couple bell cow guys on your team, like maybe go chase because that's, you know, going to give you that value bump or whatever. I personally build my dynasty teams. I lean elite receiver a little bit higher just because they tend to carry their value longer. True. And are more, in my opinion, I think they're more liquid, like as trade like assets than some running backs. Like even like right now, Christian McCaffrey, the undisputed number 1 player in fantasy, is like kind of hard to trade because you have to give up so much. You have to get so much for him. Number 1, you have to find the perfect sort of like situation for him and someone that's willing to give up like this massive amount of like draft capital or players or whatever. So to me, like they're a little less like liquid, but I definitely understand like they are the biggest like edge you can get in one season. And so it's certainly important to grab those guys. But it's just like a balance of trying to like plan long-term and have your team be like elite every year versus maybe trying to do it in cycles. Just kind of depends on how you want to do it. So that's just big picture general stuff. But I think, yeah, Harris walks in, he's going to be Le'Veon Bell. I mean, I honestly think that they're like very similar type players. Both patient runners, both came into college like not with elite speed or considered to be like the highest level athletes or whatever, but they're just like good natural runners. I think Harris has a really good like hesitation move, makes guys miss in a phone booth. Very good pass catcher, very natural pass catcher, isn't going to struggle when he's like lined up outside or whatever. So I think he's going to walk into a lot of volume. I guess the only questions that you'd have is how long is Roethlisberger going to be around? We don't know exactly what the quarterback situation is going to be long-term. And maybe he's going to end up with a quarterback who doesn't like to check it down to running backs or whatever. There's just more uncertainty, like slightly more uncertainty kind of around his long-term future. So I think that's why I lean Chase. And maybe, I mean, honestly, I might, just thinking about it now, I might even lean Pitts a little bit. But he runs into some of the same question marks with like Matt Ryan nearing the end of his career, at least, you know, in the next couple of seasons. So these are the kind of things I think about when putting these lists together. By the end of the day, like I think Chase, Harris, and Pitts are all like, I don't know, you know, just off the top of my head, like 99th percentile type prospects. Like these are all great prospects, and I think you're going to hit whether you pick any of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great point. Like what your team needs can dictate, of course. You know, NFL, they say never draft for your team needs. And I guess fantasy, you always want the best player too, but It is a different game. We're not real NFL GMs here. We're trying to fill our fantasy voids as well. But yeah, I just love that Tomlin workhorse role. He's himself come out and said, I'm a bell cow type of guy. It's a leadership type of thing. And the numbers prove that. Before Connor was kind of dust, you know, Tomlin's lead RB averaged 24.7 opportunities between attempts and targets, 24.5 fantasy points per game. None were worse than RB6. And already he's been wowing in terms of his work ethic, like staying late after practice. Ben Roethlisberger raving, this guy is going to be something special. Like, of course they're going to say that. It's, you know, short season, and you get it. But it's still great to see that those habits and the already impressing in terms of picking up the playbook. Those are the things that, yeah, it's, you know, hype season, but it's also important things to note as well. Sure. So I'm absolutely with them. But what is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.